Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and noticing that your mind feels just a little clearer. You open your eyes, sit up slowly, and instead of that foggy, heavy feeling so many people accept as normal aging, you feel a little more alert. You read something and it seems easier to focus. You go to remember a name and it comes faster. You look around the room and feel a little more present, a little more steady, a little more like yourself. Now, let me say this very carefully, because I never want to mislead you. No juice in the world can perform miracles overnight. There is no drink that suddenly reverses years of aging, restores damaged vision in one night, or magically wipes away memory problems while you sleep. That is not how the body works, and that is not what real science says. But science does tell us something hopeful. It tells us that the brain and the eyes are deeply affected by nutrition, blood flow, inflammation, oxidative stress, blood sugar control, vascular health, and the small daily habits that either support the body or slowly wear it down. And after age 60, those daily habits matter more than ever. That means what you drink, what you eat, how you sleep, how well your blood vessels function, and how consistently you care for yourself can absolutely make a meaningful difference over time. So today, I want to talk to you about 4 juices that may support healthier aging, especially when it comes to vision, mental sharpness, and circulation. Not as miracle cures, not as replacements for medical care, but as smart, evidence-informed tools that may help nourish the systems your eyes and brain depend on every single day. And I also want to be honest with you right from the beginning about something many videos skip over. The idea that these drinks work better simply because you take them at night is not strongly proven in clinical science. There is no magical hour where a juice suddenly becomes powerful just because the sun has gone down. What we do know is that sleep is important for memory, repair, and overall health. And we know that consistency matters. So if drinking one of these in the evening helps you build a routine you can actually stick to, that can be useful. But the power is not in the clock. The power is in the habit. Let's start with the first one, carrot juice. When people think about eye health, carrots almost always come to mind. And, unlike many nutrition myths, this one does have a real scientific foundation. Carrots are rich in beta-carotene, which the body can convert into vitamin A. Vitamin A plays an essential role in vision, especially in the retina, and particularly in low-light conditions. In fact, when someone is deficient in vitamin A, one of the classic signs can be trouble seeing in dim light. Now, this is where we need to stay grounded. Carrot juice is not some magical vision-restoring potion. If you already have eye disease, it is not going to cure it by itself. But if your overall diet is weak and your body needs more of the nutrients that support normal eye function, carrot juice can be one helpful addition to a healthier pattern. A balanced way to make it might be 4 medium carrots, a small piece of ginger, and maybe half an apple if you want a smoother taste. I would avoid turning it into a sugar bomb by adding too much fruit. Natural sugar is still sugar, especially for people dealing with diabetes, insulin resistance, or blood sugar swings. And this matters more after 60 because the body often becomes less forgiving. So even when something is healthy, portion and balance still matter. That leads us to the second juice, beet juice. This is one of the most interesting on the list because of what it may do for circulation. Beets are naturally rich in dietary nitrates. Once consumed, the body can convert those nitrates into nitric oxide, a compound that helps blood vessels relax and function more efficiently. That matters because healthy circulation is not only important for the heart, it also matters for the brain. Your brain depends on a steady supply of oxygen and nutrients delivered through healthy blood flow. Some research in older adults has suggested that nitrate-rich diets may increase blood flow to certain areas of the brain, particularly regions associated with executive function and frontal lobe activity. That does not mean beet juice turns into a memory cure. It does not. But it does suggest there is a believable science-based reason this food may support one of the systems the brain depends on. And, honestly, that is how I want you to think throughout this entire video. Not in terms of miracles, in terms of mechanisms, in terms of support, in terms of giving the body ingredients that align with what we know about healthy aging. A simple version of beet juice could be 1 or 2 small beets, a squeeze of lemon, and maybe a little celery or spinach. Start small if you are not used to it. Beet juice can be powerful in flavor, and in some people it may lower blood pressure. If you take medication for hypertension, or if your blood pressure already runs low, this is something worth discussing with your doctor before making it a regular habit. And if you ever notice red or pink urine afterward, do not panic. That can happen with beets and is often harmless. Now let's move to the third juice, and this one tends to surprise people: blueberry juice. Blueberries are often praised as a brain food, and while that phrase gets overused, the science behind blueberries is genuinely interesting. Blueberries contain anthocyanins, which are plant compounds with antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects. Researchers have studied these compounds for their potential role in supporting cognitive function, especially in aging populations. Some small studies have found that older adults with mild memory concerns showed improvements in certain cognitive measures after consuming blueberry juice over time. That does not mean blueberries are a treatment for dementia. It does not mean memory problems disappear with a glass of juice. But it does fit into a broader scientific picture, suggesting that diets rich in colorful fruits, especially those high in polyphenols, may help support brain health as we age. And there is something emotionally powerful about that, isn't there? Because so many people reach a point where they begin to fear their own forgetfulness. They misplace something, lose a word, walk into a room, and forget why they came in, and suddenly they are afraid. Afraid that this is the beginning of the end. Afraid that they are slipping away from themselves. Afraid that one day they will no longer trust their own mind. And while no honest person should dismiss serious memory changes, we also should not train people to feel hopeless over every small sign of aging. The brain is influenced by many things: sleep, stress, blood sugar, movement, nutrition, depression, isolation, inflammation, vascular health. So when we nourish the body well, we are not guaranteeing perfection, but we are giving the brain a better environment in which to function. A practical blueberry drink could be 1 to 1.5 cups of blueberries blended with water, preferably without added sugar. And if you can keep more of the pulp instead of straining it heavily, even better. In many cases, a smoothie-style texture is more beneficial than a fully filtered juice because you keep more of the fiber. Now, let's talk about the fourth option, and from the perspective of eye health, this may be the strongest one on the list in terms of nutritional relevance: spinach juice. Spinach contains lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 carotenoids that are especially important because they accumulate in the macula, a central part of the retina involved in sharp vision. These compounds have been studied extensively, and they are well known in eye health research, especially in relation to age-related macular degeneration. Now again, let's be precise. The strongest evidence does not say that spinach juice alone prevents blindness or cures retinal disease. The more solid research comes from specific supplement formulations studied in specific groups of people, especially in large trials like AREDS 2. But that research strongly supports the idea that lutein and zeaxanthin matter. And spinach is one of the richest natural food sources of those compounds. That means a green drink made with spinach can absolutely make sense as part of a vision-supportive dietary pattern. A simple version could include 2 handfuls of spinach, cucumber, a bit of celery, and lemon. If the flavor feels too strong, use a small piece of green apple, not a giant one. Keep it balanced. And here I need to mention an important precaution. Spinach is high in vitamin K, which matters for people taking blood thinners like warfarin. If that is you, do not suddenly increase spinach intake without getting medical guidance. With certain medications, consistency matters a lot. And now I want to pause and tell you something that I believe may be the most important part of this entire message. No juice can save you from a lifestyle that is exhausting your body every day. I say that with respect, not judgment. You can drink carrot juice, beet juice, blueberry juice, spinach juice, and every trendy health tonic on the internet. But if you barely sleep, rarely move your body, eat in ways that spike your blood sugar all day, ignore your checkups, stay chronically dehydrated, or live under relentless stress without support, the impact of any one drink will always be limited. Because health does not come from one hero ingredient. It comes from the environment you create inside your body, day after day. Your eyes need blood flow, antioxidant support, metabolic stability, and long-term protection. Your brain needs circulation, glucose control, sleep, movement, social engagement, and nutrients. Your body is not asking for a miracle. It is asking for support. And maybe that is what makes this so encouraging, because support is something you can begin today. Not all at once. Not perfectly, but steadily. Maybe you begin by replacing one sugary drink with something more nourishing. Maybe you start walking 10 extra minutes a day. Maybe you choose one of these juices 3 times a week instead of chasing random internet trends. Maybe you finally start taking your blood pressure, sleep, or blood sugar more seriously. Maybe you stop waiting for the perfect moment and simply begin. Because the real danger for many people is not that they are doing everything wrong. It is that they feel overwhelmed, discouraged, and convinced that if they cannot do everything, there is no point doing anything. That's not true. Small actions matter. Repeated actions matter even more. The body responds to patterns. So instead of asking which juice is the miracle one, maybe the better question is, which of these can I realistically include in a way that I will actually maintain? Maybe carrot juice feels simple and familiar. Maybe blueberry feels more enjoyable and easier to drink consistently. Maybe spinach fits naturally into a midday smoothie. Maybe beet juice works once or twice a week because it is strong but powerful. There is no need to be extreme. There is no prize for overdoing it. A gentle, sustainable routine is far more valuable than a dramatic burst of motivation that disappears after 3 days. And before we finish, I want to speak to the person listening right now who feels worried about getting older. Maybe you have noticed changes in your sight. Maybe your memory is not quite what it used to be. Maybe you feel more tired, more foggy, more vulnerable than before. Maybe part of you is scared to admit that. If that is you, I want you to hear this clearly. Aging is real, yes. But decline is not something you should automatically surrender to without a fight. There is a big difference between denying aging and supporting your body wisely through it. You do not need false promises. You need truthful hope. And truthful hope says this: your daily choices still matter. Your body still responds. Your health is still worth protecting. And caring for yourself is never a waste of time. So, if you want to use these juices, use them wisely. Use them as part of a broader commitment to better health. Use them with balance. Use them with medical guidance when needed. Use them as nourishment, not superstition. And let them remind you of something important. Every small act of self-care is a way of telling your body, I have not given up on you. Now, I want to ask you something personal. Which one of these 4 would you actually be willing to try first? Carrot, beet, blueberry, or spinach? And even more importantly, what do you want most right now? Do you want clearer reading, a sharper mind, better energy, more confidence, more stability, or simply the peace of knowing that you are finally doing something kind and intelligent for your future self? Tell me in the comments. I would truly love to know. And if this video helped you, subscribe to the channel, because here we are not chasing hype, fear, or miracle claims. We are building something better than that. We are building a space for calm, practical, science-informed guidance that respects your intelligence and your health. Take good care of yourself. And if you have a medical condition, take medications or manage blood sugar, blood pressure, kidney issues, or vision disease. Always talk with your doctor before making major changes to your diet. Thank you for being here with me, and I will see you in the next video.